Hi folks, so in this video, what we're actually going to do, so I'll close that one down there. What we're going to do is we're going to show you how to set up a drawing sheet for your output 4 in the Leaving Cert DCG exam, okay? There's obviously many ways you can go about this. I'm just going to show you one possible layout and some of the skills that you can use and tools you can use to obviously, I suppose, set up a nice drawing sheet, okay? So first of all, the one we're going to do is based on this little power bank here. I have a previous video done in this showing us how to do an exploded view, and we're going to use that in this video here as well today on the drawing sheet, okay? So this is the object we're going to do it based on. It's a little power bank, okay? So first of all, when we're setting up a drawing sheet, okay, now there is preset ones in SolidWorks, but what I would always advise you to do is maybe use one that you've created or a template that you've set up somewhere else. So I'm going to open up, I'm going to go File, Open, and I'm going to open up my own template, okay? So you'll see in here, I've got this one here, and if I go into, I actually have drawing templates here. Okay, I went into a folder, and I'm going to open up my drawing template. It's a blank template. And you can see here on the template, okay, I've obviously got my border, and I've got a little title block down here. Now, if I just zoom in on that title block, okay, some little tools that people might not notice. So this one here says DCG Student Assignment 2020, title, whatever it is we're doing, a power bank, exam number, whenever you find out that, measurements in millimeters or scale, date, and it might be sheet 1 of 2, or you could change that to sheet 1 of 1. Now, when you have actually that sheet set up as saved as a template, what you might want to do is you might want to change some of this information here. So the way to actually change that is in the tab section here, you want to go to sheet format, then you want to go to edit sheet format. Now when I edit sheet format, you see a little icon is opened up here. Now if I select this, like exiting sketch when you're modeling on a part, if I exit that, okay, just exit there. Hopefully that'll work there, it's gone yet. Now you'll see here, when I try to select the lettering, I'm double clicking there on DCG Student Assignment and nothing is happening. I can't edit that because it's based in the sheet format. So I have to be in edit sheet format to actually do it. You can see the icon has come up here. Now I'll double click on the lettering, and now let's say I want to change that to this year, DCG Student Assignment 2023. I can change that. The title, whatever it is, in this case I'm just going to put in there. I'm going to start in, I'm going to put in power bank. So you can change obviously the type of text and so forth, okay, different fonts, and I'll actually pull that over a little bit more just so it's more central. The exam number, I'll leave that blank for now there. Scale 1 is the one I can change that if I want to date, okay, and sheet 1 and 2. But you can change all of these things. Here in this case, I'll just change this to sheet 1 of 1. There we have it. When I'm happy with what I've done, I can exit, okay, editing my sheet format, and now all of that cannot be deleted unless I go back in here. Okay, so there we have it. There's our sheet, nice and neatly set up, ready to populate with information. Now what I want to actually put into it is the orthographic views of this object here. Okay, I want maybe the front view, side view, the bird's eye view, maybe an isometric view as well. So to do that, I'll go back into my sheet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to this tab here that says View Layout. Okay, and I'm going to select then Model View. Now, usually I would browse for my file. Because I've already opened this, it's kind of registering it there, but sometimes I might have to browse for it. Okay, I'm just going to go back in here. This is where I set up. I set up a folder here called Sheet Example. You'll have your own folders, and just made up a random exam number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's in part A, and I want the assembly, okay? So I want the power bank assemblies. There's all the various multiple parts. There's my exploded view, which is done from the previous video. But I'm going to click on this guy and click on Open. Now you'll see here it's after coming in, and a little box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this view here. Then I'm going to come to the side. I'm going to put in this view. You'll see it'll all come off it. Then I'm going to come down here off this one, and there's the plan. And if I go at an angle, you'll actually see that it's setting up what's known as an isometric view. So just come up here at an angle. There we go. I've put it up there now for now. Okay. The other way, if I went this way, that would show the other opposite side, maybe the back side of it, okay? But that's enough views there for my kind of orthographic views and obviously my isometric. So what I would then do is press escape. At the top left of your keyboard, press escape. And there we have it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one here in isolation, grab it with the little cross symbol there. I'm going to pull it down, put it anywhere on my sheet. Now, at the moment, okay, I'm going to zoom in now a little bit more. as the sheet goes, I think the scale of those is actually a little bit small. So I actually want to scale them up a little bit just to give an idea. And obviously then I can come down here in the bottom right hand corner and change that. But to change those, okay, this one right here, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to increase the scale. And you'll notice these should change with it. So if I select it there, okay, so I double click on it, bring it down here, okay. Now you've got a couple of render tools here, okay. Once again, options here, but if I click on the actual icon, or sorry, of the elevation view of it, come over here to my window. Now I've got display style, I can put it into color, and you'll notice that it's all going to change here as well. Okay. Now usually for the orthographic views, I would like, and I advise maybe, you don't have to, but I would advise maybe that you keep them in normal here. Okay. This kind of quality. If you want to put in hidden detail, you can pop it in. But you can see here, depending on the complexity of your object, if I zoom in there, you can see sometimes the hidden detail is actually a little bit much. So you have to make that judgment call yourself. Whereas if I go like this, I think that looks a little bit neater. Okay, so that's obviously the display style. You can try play around with a few of those. Now the scale here is helpful. So it's saying use sheet scale. I'm going to use a custom scale. Now currently at this moment it's 1:2, which is half the size of it. Now if I went 1:1, you can see here it's gone a little bit bigger. Now I think it's an appropriate size for the isometric sketch. However, for the orthographic, I think it's a little bit too big because I want to use my sheet and other little skills here on my sheet as well. So I'm actually going to change that. And instead of 1:1, I'm going to grab up here and I'm going to go user defined. Now in user defined, it's going to allow me to actually change here. So 1:2 of this will be back down to half. I just change that to 2 and enter. I'm actually going to go 1:1.5, which is in between. And now, there we go. All of a sudden, everything you can see here has changed. I'm actually happy with that size. So I'll accept that. Now, I'm going to move this up here into the corner, so it's fitted. This is going to be directly linked to it, and likewise here. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to actually select this one here individually. Okay, the isometric. I'm going to put this one here in color. So I've selected color for that. Okay. I'm now going to increase the scale of that one. And I'm going to use a custom scale and I'm going to go 1:1 for that one. And you can see this one here is just individually changed. And accept that. Okay. Once again, just move it in slightly. Okay. We've got our views. You might have to move these about depending on what you're putting in. Okay. So you can see here my sheet is starting to fill up. Now what I want to do is I want to add a couple of notes. So I'm going to go to annotation. I'm going to select note. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to zoom in. And in this section here, I'm going to write as best I can, caps lock on, elevation. Happy with that. Usually it gives you an option to put it again. So I'm going to line it. You can see how it's kind of coming in, mapped onto it, under this one. As best I can, central. I'm going to put in end elevation. Okay, zoom out. Underneath this one, I put plan. And I can change it. And then finally, once again, press escape to deactivate the tool. If they're out of kind of sync, just pull them back into position. This one here is a little bit, so I'll pull it in there. Happy with that now. There are some notes I'm after putting in. If I want to put a note with this guy, what I'll actually do is I'll go over here, pop in this, and I'll say isometric view. There you have it. Okay. If you wanted, you can see a little arrows coming in with it. I'll put it in like that. And if I wanted, then press escape, get rid of that. Okay, just click on the item and press delete. Okay, so there we go, nice little isometric view there. Okay, just showing that. So now what we're actually going to do then is we're going to apply some dimensioning, okay, to the orthographic. Okay, so if I go to the, I think it is in the annotation, yes, sorry, I've got smart dimension here. Select that icon. Now what I want to do is I want to put in a dimension between this line, and I'll zoom in, make sure I get the correct line. Now that's saying 166.9. I might have grabbed something incorrectly there. I think I got the right one. I assume it was meant to be 167. But I'm going to pull that down there now. This will be a good little tip for us here. It's at 166.90. Now generally we'd like to have like round numbers, provided it was actually a round number was meant to be put in. I probably might have grabbed the wrong line there. But what I want to do is I'm going to select that, and what I want to do is if I want to overwrite that value and make it 167 exactly, you can see here where it says primary value. If I select this little icon here saying override value, I can now come down here, 167. There you go. Now it's just have to pull it up, so I'll pull it down there. That's a really easy way of overriding the value. Okay. Once again, going to select. Now, just make sure you're getting the right distances. Now that's once again saying 78.7. Lovely. I might round that up to 79. Okay. And so on. Okay, so I've got the length, I've got the width. Next one I get is the height. Zoom in just to make sure I have the right one. That's 21.8. Okay. Might put in the length, obviously, of the little section here. All the way up to this point. 25.25. Okay, once again, you can change that up depending on what you're doing. Okay, now that's just some ways of putting in dimensions then as well. Okay, you can see it happening here. I might put in maybe the width once again here to here. Sorry, smart dimension, apologies. Here to here. There's another dimension. Might put in the angle. Sorry, the angle. Okay, in between two of them. And then the last one I might do is a little circle here, getting the diameter of 8. There we go. Now, obviously, the more you dimension it, obviously, the more detail you're going to get into it, and it might start to kind of clog up your drawing a little bit, okay? So just be careful of what you dimension, get in the main dimensions of what's important, okay? Obviously, you can get in loads of dimensions here for USB. There's no need, obviously, if you get one USB done, there's no need to obviously do this one, okay? If you get one of these on, no need to do this one, okay? So that's some of the main dimensioning ways of doing it. So we've done the orthographic views, we've done dimensioning, we've got the isometric view, we've done the display styles, and we've talked about scaling. Now another way we could actually do something here is, I'm actually going to pull this down now. I'm just going to put it down here. That's what I'm actually sticking. I actually might leave it here. I'll grab this isometric fella. Should be able to. What are we doing here? I'll actually delete that there. There we go. I'll just input it again down here. There we go. Okay, now what I want to actually do now is I'm going to show you how to do a section view. Okay, so if I go to view layout, and what I want to do is a section view. So a section is like when we take a slice through the actual object. Okay, so if I do a section view, I'll select that. The section I'm actually going to take, I'm just thinking through the object. Maybe this one. Just thinking. Select OK. I'm just going to play around with that one. Not going to use that one actually. Apologies. I'll undo that. So I'm going to go to my section view, and it's like I'm going to take a slice through the actual object. Okay, so I'm actually going to section it right here in the middle. Okay, if I zoom in there, it's like I'm after taking a slice right through the object there. Okay, select it, tick, click the green arrow, select OK, and now I'm going to pull it out here like this. Now that's my section of the object. It's like I'm after taking a knife, I'm after cutting through the object, and this is showing the inside part of the object. The reason I want to do that is because I obviously want to show the lithium batteries on the inside. Now, obviously to get that onto our sheet, I'm going to pull it over here, have it like it beside that again. Okay, that's showing our section view. Look, it's saying section BB. Okay, the only thing is it's clouding my elevation, so I'm going to pull that over to the side there. Okay, all of a sudden we're after showing how to do a section view. Okay, the next thing, after doing a section, now you can do sections on different parts. You could do, that's obviously a vertical section cutting through it. I could do a horizontal section going through it like that, okay, or horizontal going through it like that. But I think that's quite an appropriate one for here. The next one we're going to show you is how to do a detail view. Okay, so let's say if I look at the object, I've got a bit of detail here. kind of around this section with all the inputs. Okay, I've got a bit of detail here, obviously around the LEDs and obviously the bulb. And then if you actually look in here, a little bit of detail on the lettering. So if I want to show one or two of them, this is what I can do. If I grab my detail view and I zoom in, now I have to be smart in where I kind of choose this from. So I'm going to draw a circle. You can see a circle is coming with it. Don't want to grab too much. Just about there. You can see here, they're after giving me kind of what would be known as, I suppose, a detailed view or an enlarged view of that area. I might put it up into there. Now that's a little bit big at the moment. Okay, so I can scale that down. I'm still active on that. Okay, so if I click the tick, now watch, select this, I can come down here. Once again, we've done this before. I'm going to actually use a custom scale. I'm going to go user defined once again. And I'm going to say, now that's exploded up to a certain dimension there. I'm actually going to say 1.5 is to 1. Press enter. And as you can see there, that's, I think, in my opinion, a little bit of a better size. Okay, that's a more appropriate size. Once again, there's lettering that comes in with it, and you'll see the detail actual lettering changes as well. Scale is 1 is to 1.5 is to 1. I'm actually going to put it up here. Once again, I could actually put in a little note there, annotation, just on this section. Grab it there, and the note I'm going to say is how would I put it? Port inputs. Perfect. Press escape to get it off. I can pull it over here. There we go. You can see the page is starting to fill up here a little bit more now. I want to do maybe one more detail view. So go to my view layout, detail view. This time, what I'm actually going to grab is, I'm trying to get the lights. You can see there, the LEDs. Okay, once again, slightly large. I'll check it. It might be 1.5. I'll just check. So once again, I'm going to go user defined. I'm going to change it to 1.5. Now you don't have to stick to that. Play around with the numbers and you get one that's more appropriate for you. And just with that then, pull that in a little bit there. Grab the lettering. Okay, you can see there that's starting to fill. Once again, I would actually leave in those. Now, once again, look, if I actually show you this, I can maybe change the display style. Select this, come down here, and change it up. Do that one. Or, you might go something like this. Now, as you can see then, it starts to get very, very complicated inside there. But if you wanted, you could do that. Okay? I usually wouldn't advise that. I find myself personally, okay, if I change the display style again, I find myself personally, that one is usually the most appropriate. Okay? So we've done the detail views. Now, the other thing we can do is I'm going to do two more things. Okay? I'm now next going to put in what would be known as a bill of materials. Okay, so a table of contents. And then the other one I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a rendered image of the actual object. Okay, I'm going to start off with the rendered image. So I've already previously done this. Okay, so, and I've made it. So I'm just going to show you how you would do this because it can take a little bit of time. So if you go here to the tab that says Solidworks add-ins, and on Photo View 360, you can see here I actually already have it highlighted. If I de-highlight or deselect that, now if I select it again, watch this. If I select that, now hopefully when I select Photo View 360, usually a box will come up. Not that one. Usually a box will come up. Okay, where it allows you to add in the image. Okay, actually leave that for a second. I'm just going to go to insert instead. So I'm going to go to insert. I'm actually going to put in the rendered image. Usually on Photo View 360, I would select this and render region will come up and I would then select the area that I want to render. Oh, I apologize, I have to do that. Sorry for that. I have to do that inside in the assembly. That's where I was getting mixed up there. So I'm going to go back to my assembly, just quickly to explain it. That's why. So once again, watch this. If I go to my SolidWorks add-ins, Photo View 360. Now watch this. When I deselect it, render tools will leave. Now, notice one of the tabs is gone. When I select this, I should get an additional tab here. and there we go, it's after coming in. Now if I go to render tools, in the options section I can come down here, and for my render quality you can change the render quality from good to better to best to maximum. Okay, that's the preview one. The final render quality, once again, good to better to best to maximum. If you set it at maximum, it's going to take longer to render, but that is because you're obviously getting a better quality image. Now the one I have done for both for the final render that I'm going to put into the sheet is just a better one. Okay. Now to actually do it, that's just the settings, and I accept those with the green arrow. So options, and I can change the settings of the render quality. And there's more details that you can change here if you learn a little bit more about it, okay? But just for the sake of the project, usually the detail or the way it's set up, that should be absolutely fine. Now, what I want to do now is I want to select my render region. So to see render region, select this, and you can see little purple boxes come in around the object. Now let's say I didn't want the whole object rendered. Let's say I just wanted these USB ports at the front, maybe the LEDs. I can change my render region to something like that. Okay, and that means then when it starts to render, it will only render what is inside of that box. Okay, what I can do then is I'm going to go to final render, and then it might ask me, you'll see here when I select this, add a camera, turn on perspective. Okay, and you can just decide whether or not to do that. What I did for the render that I'm going to put in the example is I said continue without camera or perspective. Once I did that, then the render happened and I saved that as a JPEG file. Okay, now that's just how you do a render. I'm going to turn off my render region. I'm going to go back into my drawing file, and I'm going to put in that render inside in here. And then I'm going to put in the table. So to put in a picture, I'm going to go insert, I'm going to go picture, and the picture here I have it previously saved into this folder. DCG Project example, part A. You can see my render, and I just said better. So there's the image. Okay, select that, click open. That's going to come in down here, okay, as a drawing or as a render picture. And what I can do is I can pull it up here. If I want to increase the scale of it, grab the corner, okay, and it will come in. Now I'm going to put it in about there, okay. I might have filled in maybe another one in there if I had a little bit more time, obviously, for this video. But once I'm happy with that, select it. Now that render will come in. I know it comes in with a little box, okay. But when that render comes in, don't worry, the box won't print out, okay. You can see here it's like a real live image. Now the quality of that render could be improved, obviously, if I had chosen obviously the better settings, okay. Now the next little thing I'm going to do, having done that, you can see the page is filling up here neat and tidy. If I want to move that, I can actually just double click it and I can move it about again. Okay, there's another render. I'll leave it. I'm just going to put it there. Okay, select that. Now what I want to do is I want to add in a bill of materials. So in annotation, I'm going to select tables, and I'm going to do a bill of materials. So annotation, tables, bill of materials. Okay, now select the drawing. So I have to select the actual drawing here. So I'm going to select any view in the orthographic. I'm going to select this one. Okay, font standard, parts only, accept that. Now a little table is after coming in there, you can see here. I'll actually just do that step again so everyone can see it. I'm going to pick quick there. So annotation, tables. I'm going to do, is it a general table? Just make sure. No, I don't want a general table. Bill of materials. And what I have to do is select the part. And I want bomb standard. Start at 1, finished, yep, that's all fine. There's one item number, state configuration, same as parameter. Top level only, dash line component. Yeah, I'll accept that now. So I'm happy with those, and I'm going to set the green arrow here. Now, here's the table after coming in. And what I would do now is, I'm going to click here, and there's the table. Now in this table here, obviously then, I can input, I can input information. Power bank housing unit, okay. If you wanted to change the CWRS description, you could change that to material that it might be made from. Obviously you can see here battery, I've got 4 parts. Oh, be careful here, my battery's about to run out. I've got 4 parts there for the battery. There's a little table there. If you want to remove any rows, you can right click, hopefully, and you can delete. You should be able to delete the column there. Okay, if you want to take the column out. If you want to put it in, you can. Okay, but before you know it, you can see how quickly we're after actually filling that sheet there. Just double click, I'll pull this over. And just before we finish, because my battery is about to go, I want to save this video. I might go annotation, sorry, I'll accept the table, annotation, note, put in a little note here, rendered image. Hopefully there's our rendered image. There's our bill of materials. And before you know it, there is our drawing page setup done for our output 4. It can be done quite quickly and it can be done very neatly and tidily if you just take a little bit of care and consideration. Okay, what I would then do is I would go up here, File, Save As. I want to save it into my folder. I'm just going to get the correct folder in this case. I had DCG sheet example. I'd saved into this folder to part A. And what I would say then is I would say power bank drawing. Oh, these caps locks on. Power bank. There you have it. I would then save that as a drawing file. Save all. Phone documents must be saved. That's fine. Save that. There we go. That's it done, guys. That's that video complete, guys. I hope you found that helpful.